Well, hello again, everyone. It is, are we on, Andrea? Are we good? Right on. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Championship Formula Podcast. I'm your host, Joey Gilbert. This podcast is powered by TKO Vitality. And I want to welcome everybody back. You know, we're trying to set a schedule here where we're going to start coming to you guys live on Thursday nights. I'd like to try and shoot for 6 o'clock, 6:30. We'll go for 30 minutes to an hour. Sometimes we'll be bringing on guests. But this is just a podcast for me to kind of tell folks what I'm up to, what I'm doing. It's not all health and fitness based, although that's a big part of it. I'm still a lawyer. I'm still in the fight across America to make America healthy again, to get us back on track. And so what did I decide to do? For those of you that aren't aware, I went and formed a telemed company, and we are focusing on optimizing your wellness. And that is anyone who's listening. I don't care what your age is. I don't care if you're a younger guy, middle-aged guy, or an older gentleman, we can help you. And the same goes for women. I don't think folks realize how important it is to optimize your hormones, to optimize your basically your vitamins, your minerals, everything that you would see in a blood test. And so that's one of the things we're going to be talking about here every Thursday. I'm going to be bringing on guests. I've got doctors coming on. I've got athletes, former professional athletes. We're going to do all kinds of exciting stuff here. And we're going to try and answer your questions and provide a platform for optimized wellness. That's essentially what that is. Anybody that knows me knows I've been in this space my whole life. First as a professional athlete and a champion boxer. I had the WBO, NABO belt. I had the WBC, USNBC middleweight belts. I was ranked number 3 in the world by the WBO, number 7 in the world by the WBC. And I went on to finish my career, retired about 2011, 21, and 3 with 16 knockouts. I say 17. You can look that up. But it is what it is. And so here we are, still in the fight for optimized health, still in the fight to maintain those vigorous energy levels that I've been able to do for quite some time. And so one of the things we're going to talk about over and over again is, there's a movement across this country. Everyone's well aware of it, the Make America Healthy Again movement. But I've taken it a step farther. I want to make America masculine again, and I want to make women feminine again. Men should be leading. When we lead from a position of strength, then it's very easy for the other people in our life to back us up and to follow along. And that's what this is all about. But you can't do these things unless you're healthy, unless you're feeling your best and able to perform your best. And that's something we're going to always be talking about and focusing on here on the Championship Formula Podcast, which is brought to you by TKO Vitality. Now, as I said, a nationwide telemed platform. Yes, we've got a bulk of our clients right now in Nevada, but we're starting to spread out. Just this week, very exciting. We have advertising popping up in some major cities. It's something we've been waiting to do, working all the kinks out, getting everything set, building the redundancy. We've done that now. And so I want to encourage anybody that's watching this today, jump on the tkovitality.co site, see what we're about. But I'm telling you what we're about. We're about making sure that your hormones are optimized, making sure that if you've had that stubborn weight you haven't been able to get off for 10, 15 years, hell, 5 years, a few years, for those moms that weren't able to get that baby weight off, for those dads and those moms locked in those jobs where you're sitting all day and you're just not getting those steps in and you've put on that weight. It's not your fault. All right. That's one thing we're going to talk about a lot on this program. It's the toxins in our food. It's the chemicals in our food. It's in the air that we're breathing. Whatever the hell they're spraying on us is all affecting how our body is performing, how it's regulating itself. And the truth is there's a lot of chemicals. There's a lot of harmful stuff that's affecting the way your body processes food, how your body communicates with all the important cells and membranes and what's being told. And so what we're trying to do is reestablish that holistic connection, that holistic performance that you will receive when you optimize your levels. And so some of the stuff we're going to talk about is going to be, basic stuff, but then we'll get into more advanced things. And so what I've asked producer Andrea to do, and those of you that remember Andrea from my campaign for governor, she was always in the background getting stuff done. Well, she has come on board to lead the effort at TKO Vitality, driving the marketing, driving the social media content, and helping me put out a platform that we hope you guys find very interesting. You stay with us and you come back to us for all your healthcare needs and all your intentions to optimize your wellness. So with that, Andrea, I know you've got some questions. We're going to just throw out some questions we've been getting send it to us in our email, put in the chat boxes. What we're doing is we're taking those, we're going to answer them direct, and then we're always going to be posting these show notes. There's going to be links you can follow. Everything I ever say here will be backed up by science, right? Follow the science, unless it's, anyway, follow the science, right? No matter how crazy it might be.
I just saw Jim Breuer's, he does that whole thing on science, the science gods.
Yeah, the science gods.
So Pigeon's with us. You got to do a shout out to Pigeon. Say hi to Pigeon.
Oh, Pigeon's with us. Hi, Pigeon.
Yeah. You can't
Exciting time, guys. And you know what? Like I said, there's more to come. We've got a lot of things happening, but this is what we're doing as our part, like I said, to make America healthy again. It's been something I've been working on for nearly 2 years. This October will be 2 years. Took a lot to get here. I'm excited to be here, and I'm even more excited to have the opportunity and the trust to help you, achieve your best self. And like I said, be better in every way. So Andrea, let's do some questions.
You ready for your first question? What was the exact moment you knew that TRT was working?
Okay. This is a big one, guys. So people are always asking me, and you got a lot of guys that say, oh, man, I'm 45, I'm almost 50. It's just a dad bod. I'm being told by my doctor that this is just normal. And the truth is, it's absolutely not. The average young person today, and I'm talking your 25 to 30-year-old men, have the testosterone levels of a 68-year-old man. All right. That is not normal. For those of you that, that do watch alternative media, I bring up someone like Alex Jones screaming into the camera that they're making the frogs gay, right? You guys probably heard about that from the estrogen in the waters. Then the FDA just recently puts out that there's so much estrogen in the water because women with birth control take it. It goes into our water filtration system. We don't have a filtration system that takes that out. That's why you're seeing things like little girls as young as 8 and 9 years old starting their periods at that age when it used to be 13, 14, 15 or higher. And so you're seeing all kinds of things from the fallout from the chemicals and stuff in our food and the toxins in our food. And so I just say that to caution guys that are starting off with, well, hey, that's not for me. TRT is it? Well, let me tell you something. It absolutely is for you. If you've noticed some cognitive decline, if you've noticed loss of energy, if you've noticed loss of patience, if you're not interested in putting in that workout, if you get home from a busy day and the only thing you can think about is plopping on that couch and scrolling through reels, let me tell you something. I've been there, right? I'm not gonna act like I don't do those things. But if you want to have that added energy to get that workout in, to go on a walk with the dog, to take your kids to the park, to put in that workout that you've been meaning to put out that you say you're going to do every day, but then you're too tired to do it, this is for you. So I would say for me personally, I stopped boxing and I, went and got some blood work done, and I was in the very low level. The range that LabCorp or that any testing facility is going to give you is like a 200 to 900. So if you fall anywhere in 200, you're fine. Absolutely not. Who in this planet would want to be at the very lowest level of what is accepted normal in America, where we're the most unhealthy country in the world? So you got to understand this, guys. When they're putting you on that big circle and you're at that bottom end of all the other unhealthy, overweight, obese people in America, where are you really at? So I will just tell you this. When I got my testosterone levels from which were under 300 up to about 850, 900, I felt like a different human being. And so the biggest takeaway I had from, and I don't like to say, TRT, that's testosterone, replacement. I like to say enhancement, because you do have some testosterone in your body, and there's things you can do with your diet and with different, nutraceuticals you can take and either other medications to increase that testosterone. But then you get to a point where if your body's just not producing it anymore due to the chemicals, due to the toxins, due to your lifestyle, are you just supposed to go without it? And I would say absolutely not. And so when I got those levels back up to the 800 plus, the energy I had, the mental clarity I had, you've got sexual function, you mix in all those things. But for me, it was mainly the not feeling tired at the end of the day. And all, both sides, men and women, understand what I'm talking about here. And ladies who are listening right now, here's a shocker for you. Your testosterone levels are the lowest they've ever been. And I know women think like, wait a second, testosterone is one of the most important hormones for women. Progesterone, estrogen, But because, again, the same toxins affecting all of us, from our kids to our animals to our plants, the stuff they're spraying, the stuff that's in our food, the food additives, all that stuff has brought your levels down to less than optimized levels. And for some of you ladies out there, and this is something big I'm seeing in premenopausal and anything, even after having kids, they're going in and getting their blood work done, and we're seeing some amazing stuff. And then by addressing that holistically, the results are just absolutely phenomenal. And as I've said, for me, it was the energy, the extra, pep in my step, and just feeling like I wasn't tired and I wasn't worn out by 2 or 3 o'clock. And of course, 5 o'clock, the last thing you want to do is stop somewhere or go to the gym, especially if you're running home to get dinner made and get something done for the kids. All of a sudden you have that energy back. Next thing you know, you've done dinner and you're up walking on the treadmill and then getting in the sauna because you're not exhausted. So for me, energy, vitality, and just the overall passion for life comes back. And for those of us that need that energy for what we do, it's a game changer. I think that should answer the question. Did I lose Andrea? Well, it's all right. I'll move on to something else we're going to talk about because I know some of these questions. Oh, what happened to you?
I'm trying to multitask.
Well,
you keep me busy, boss.
I got 36 people on here that are not going to be happy with your multitasking.
There's more than 36. That's just showing your Twitter. You have a ton on Facebook right now. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Shoot us your questions. My next question that we had, get your Zins going, boss. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, so something people talk about and want to know a lot is what did you get wrong before starting tirzepatide? People want to know about tirzepatide.
Okay, this is a big one, folks. Everyone that's listening to this right now, the weight loss shots, they're everywhere, right? The weight loss shots are everywhere. We're going to be bringing some guests on. They're not going to be speak too highly of it. Some are going to love them. A lot of the doctors I'm talking to that have done some research and used it in the clinical applications have noticed amazing results for their patients. We've noticed amazing results for our clients. And one of the things that you get wrong, the misnomer out there, is that tirzepatide is going to, you're going to lose so much weight. You're going to lose your butt. You're going to have this saggy face. And I'll tell you something, for those of you that think, oh, this is just a quick fix, you can continue on the sedentary lifestyle you're in and you can keep eating the same crap you're eating. That's not correct. So the takeaway for me for tirzepatide is that it quiets the food noise, right? It takes something out of the equation, that voice in the back of your head, I'm starving, I need sugar, I need carbs. And that's because the chemicals and the toxins that have been put in our food, that's your body craving stuff that's been artificially, added to our food that your body now thinks it needs. And so tirzepatide shuts down the food noise. It makes you feel full longer. Yes, it does slow down how your body processes food or eliminates it, so you feel full longer. And there's a worry there that that slow down of your gut, of your stomach, and that you're holding on to food could create problems. And if you just sit around, that could happen. But if you're waking up every morning, you're starting your morning within the first 30 minutes of waking up with a protein shake and getting some water and hydrating, and then making sure you're eating some small meals a day, high quality protein, chicken, beef, fish. For those of you out there, yogurt or soy or something like that, I don't recommend it. But if you can eat that whole food lifestyle, that unprocessed food lifestyle, while you start tirzepatide, be able to have some movement in there. And we'll talk about resistance training and all that, but making sure you're getting your protein in, making sure you're eating healthy. And when you do have those cravings, which they're going to be much more diminished. When you do have a craving, you need some sugar because you're just not eating it. Eat healthy, real sugars. And that's what you're going to get from your fruits and vegetables, ideally your fruits. And so the tirzepatide, caution I put out there is that absolutely, make sure that you're continuing to eat something, because it's going to shut down that appetite real quick, but make sure you're getting your basic meals in along with a protein shake and staying hydrated. And I'm not saying you got to carry around the Stanley and drink a gallon of water. I'm saying get a few, liters of water in every day along with your normal beverages, and you'll notice a huge difference, and the side effects will not materialize for you. That's what
Love it. So this was one of my favorite ones. You and I talked about this earlier, and I loved your response, so I want to share it here. So what surprised your family and friends the most after you started this, the tirzepatide?
So guys, one of the things about tirzepatide, I want to back up a little bit. You guys hear about these GLP-1s. That's a single agonist. And What does that mean? It means the peptide, which is a short chain amino acid, is sending messages to your body. I'm full. I don't need to eat much. I'm not craving this sugar. And it's making you feel full from the second you put some in your body, and because your things are eliminating slower. And so that's very important. That's the GLP-1. Now, when you add tirzepatide, which is a GIP agonist, that then also helps with insulin, with blood sugar. Okay. It's regulating everything in your body that deals with diet, that deals with how you're processing and obviously, processing the food. Metabolizing would be the word, but how your body's handling that food. And the thing that my friends and family noticed was all of a sudden, I'm not reaching for bread and butter. I'm not reaching for pointless carbs. I'm not having a soda at dinner. And for those of you that are like, oh, diet soda or whatever, that for some folks, that added sodium, that added carbonation. I got a friend of mine, Tony, that's all I'll say. We talk about it. Anytime we have a soda, we gain 6 to 8 pounds. Okay. It's those carbonated beverages. You're just not craving them anymore. So I'm off to the flavored waters, the seltzer waters that have nothing in it. And some of them might have stevia or monk fruit. But my family just noticed that my portion size was way smaller, and I wasn't reaching for those, wasted carbs, those unnecessary carbs or sugars that we would always traditionally start our meal with and end a meal with. And I was focusing on eating more protein, the beef, the chicken, even cheese, things like that take the place of those just pointless foods.
I love it. Okay. So the Italian guy who likes to eat all of mom's food.
Well, I left that part out. So I was saying that earlier. Those of you that know me know a little bit about my background. I'm Italian. That's where the passion comes from. I have a little Italian mother, the Nonna of the family. She's always making something. Yep. And right away, son, do you want this? No, I'm good, Mom. Son, do you want this? No, hey, I'm going to make, no, I'm good.
There was something wrong, Joey? Was she like, are you okay, son?
She just wondered what was going on. Then, of course, when I tell her, Mom, I just don't even have those cravings anymore. It's not even a thought. I don't want it. I don't need it. And that's a big deal. And for those of you that have family that watch you like a hawk or notice what you eat or don't eat, they're going to pick up on that real quick. Because like I said, you're going to get whatever meal you're at, anywhere you're at, and you're going to eat a half of it, if that, and save it for later. And then I end up munching on that the next few hours. You still get it in, but you're just not consuming these huge portions. And one of the things I brought up when we were talking about it earlier is that's what all this happened with all this supersized crap. The food companies are adding chemicals to your food that turn off the satiated messengers that tell your body, I'm full. I don't need any more sugar. I don't need any more salt. That's why you're eating a full bag. That's why everything was supersized. So these messengers shut all that down.
Yeah, it's like Frankenstein food is what I call it. Like, they're putting those chemicals in there with intent to mess us up. Okay, are you ready for another one, boss?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite ones too, because there's a lot of controversy with the GLP-1s and tirzepatide. And I want you to explain tirzepatide to the audience like we're 10-year-olds.
Okay, so guys, I'm going to explain tirzepatide like to a grade school kid. I kind of already talked about it, but you've got your traditional GLP-1s you're seeing with the Ozempics and other stuff out there. That's the brand name, and that's the one that shuts down. It shuts down the feeling. Making sure that you're feeling full. It increases your body to say you're feeling full. It slows down elimination. It slows down your processing of food so you feel full longer, okay? That's the GLP-1. That's what that does. Then there's the GIP receptor or the agonist, which tirzepatide brings in. So think of two different substances being added. One makes you feel full and makes you really not hungry, works on your appetite. And the second one is going to directly affect your insulin, your glucose, your blood sugar, and it's gonna signal to your body so that you don't have these spikes, you don't have these cravings for this stuff. It just shuts it down. Amy in my office, who I love, talks about this all the time. It shuts off the food noise. So that little voice in the back of your head when you're just starving, but you're starving for the wrong things. Fellas, you know what I'm talking about. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Get home from a grueling day. You meant to eat lunch. Maybe we had a bar or something. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. You munched on something. You come home starving and you eat a meal between 5 and 7. That's huge. What does that do? that spikes your blood sugar. Okay. You're hungry a few hours later. What do we do, guys? I know what I do. I'm back in the refrigerator, 9 o'clock, 9:30. I go lay down in bed. I get up, I go back, I eat something else. Gone. Tirzepatide gets rid of that. And again, those are those dual agonists that are helping both with feeling full and wanting food, or being hungry, I should say. And then the other one are those sugar cravings, those carb cravings, those, wanting to stuff your face because you haven't eaten all day. That's gone. So with just a basic meal, protein shake, you feel full and you're able to go to bed or go about your business without that food noise. And it's a game changer.
So sticking on the tirzepatide train, what's the most common myth you think out there about tirzepatide?
So I think the most common myth is that, you read about it, you hear people talk about Ozempic butt, Ozempic face, you lose all your muscle, and you can. I want to say this to people. Now, look, I am not a, go full gambit right from the start. I actually think that what a lot of these companies are doing and what a lot of these doctors are doing that don't know what they're doing, shocking. Okay. Anybody knows my position on doctors, they're getting, the drug companies are telling them how much to prescribe. And so they're prescribing it. And I haven't met a drug company yet that's not driven by money, right? That's not money motivated. They want as much of this product moving out as they can. So I think by lowering the dose, as you'll hear, titrating it down to a smaller dose so that your body has a chance to adjust to it is super important. I also think that one of the side effects, or the side effects that they talk about, can absolutely be avoided by your diet, by eating healthy while you're on this stuff. And again, understand this, guys, all the cravings for the bad stuff is gone. What I'm asking you to do is, you're not hungry, still eat. That's the most common thing about it, is that you've got to continue to eat. You might feel a little nauseated. You might feel a little like, just apprehensive to eat something. Get that protein shake in within 15 to 30 minutes of waking up. Get a nice, good glass of water. If you guys, I put a little Celtic sea salt in it, or a little Himalayan sea salt in it. Remember, there's different salts out there that do have iodine in it. You need that. You throw a little bit of that in there, get some water in and a protein shake in those early days as you're beginning tirzepatide. Make sure that you're getting in, an actual meal. Get a Caesar salad, eat the chicken. Get fajitas, eat the meat. Get a fish dish. Eat the fish, eat the vegetables. If you don't feel like the rice or the potatoes or the bread or the risotto, don't eat it, but get that protein in. And I think that you can absolutely shut down the majority of the side effects by just being not so much disciplined, more diligent, that you're getting something in and you're not just not eating, because that can cause problems. And the last thing I want to say is, if anybody's on here is thinking, oh, I just want to take something and I don't want to do anything, I think, I'm the wrong guy. I want you to absolutely be active. And, we're going to go through stuff. You're going to see videos and stuff I put together for you of 5 exercises that I think men and women can do, starting with static squats, front lunges, back lunges, the Cossack squat, which is, left and right, planks and push-ups, and then some form of either hanging from a bar or lat pull downs, just to engage all those muscles, that resistance training, to activate those muscles and use them a little bit. And for those of you that don't have access to anything, that's fine. The things I'm talking about, you need a floor. Everybody's got a floor. If you got kids that want to go to the park, you can hang from stuff there, or go down in a push-up or plank position. Very basic stuff just to engage in everything. And just walking, no running, just walking and doing some very easy things, I think can shut down all side effects or worries about the misnomers of using these fantastic and I think absolutely wonderful, scientific interventions.
Yeah, I actually walked uphill on my treadmill today because of you, because we talk about how just walking uphill with that incline, that burns more fat than running sometimes. And
it's not sometimes, it absolutely does, because you're in that steady state, you're in that steady state, cardio rate where you got your treadmill between a 7 and 9 incline. You're not over 3.0 to 3.5, and you're just walking. And yes, it's boring, but you know what I tell people out there? Before you sit on your phone on the couch and scroll through reels or scroll through messages or scroll through that inbox, go out there and walk. Walk and do it. Walk on a treadmill and do it, and you'll knock out 4 birds with 1 stone.
Exactly. So let's talk about labs. What do you see in your labs now versus before?
Well, I brought this up, at one of the last podcasts. For those of you who don't know where my motivation came, how did I get to this point? Well, in 2004, I had the pleasure of meeting Sylvester Stallone on a TV show called The Contender that I was on. And Sly, as we all call him, just an awesome guy, mentor, friend, just a giant in the wellness space. Take a look at this guy. He's almost 80 years old. He looks better than anybody, including me with his shirt off. Phenomenal. And when I met him, one of the little things he did, we're in his house in Beverly Hills. We're in his little study area, a little room off the main room. And he takes me in there and he shows me all these binders up on the shelf. And he pulls one down. He says, Joey, let me tell you something. 20 years from now, and crazy as if it isn't true, 20 years from now, everyone's going to be regulating, optimizing their hormones. He goes, it's coming. We're 20, 30, 40 years behind Europe. He goes, aging is a disease and it can be fought. Same thing with being out of shape. He goes, you got to optimize and enhance your hormones. You got to keep them at optimized levels to feel great. So that was the first time I came back. Figured 20 years ago, the doctors are looking at me like I'm out of my mind because I want to pull lab work that's got all kinds of stuff in it. Lipid profile, okay, cholesterol, the metabolic profile, basically cardiac profile, a men's hormone panel. They're going, what are you doing? I said, I just want to see it. And so from that point forward, I started noticing my labs. And so what I want to talk about with people is that if you haven't had lab work done in the last year, and what shocked me is I started finding most guys men and women that we talk to have not had lab work done in 10 or 20 years. And I'm not kidding. Not talking about basic labs because you're having a baby or a physical for your health insurance or your life insurance. I'm talking about a full panel by a doctor that knows what he's talking about that's been worked up. And so since I started my different, wellness journey, I'd call it, or my optimized wellness journey, I've seen my labs do some incredible things. Right now, as I sit in front of you today, my lipid profile, my cholesterol, my cardiac, everything is an absolute, in the green at the highest numbers. And if I'm a little deficient in vitamin D or B, we throw a little supplement in to recheck the labs, and in 4 to 8 weeks, everything's back, to normal or at those optimized levels, and you feel it. So I would say to anybody that's listening, I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. If you're not working with someone that's going to look at all your labs, not just pull something basic, not just a basic hormone panel, but everything, you're doing yourself a disservice. And it becomes a game. You get to look at it, wow, man, maybe that's why my energy's off. Maybe that's why the vitality is missing. And now that I'm back into those optimized levels, like I said at the beginning of the program, you look at that bubble, that circle, who wants to be at the left farthest end, okay, at the lowest amount in the most unhealthy, overweight, obese country on the planet? Wouldn't you want to be on the optimized level of the sickest people on the planet? I would. So when Tony Robbins talks about this, Gary Brecka, they don't even want to be in that circle. They want to be on the outside of that circle in those optimized levels. That's where I'm at now. And that's where I encourage everybody to get to. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family. It makes a huge difference.
If you're not first, you're last, baby. Why wouldn't you want to be
last?
So a lot of people in the chat, I've been looking at the chats across the platforms. They're saying, a lot of women out there are saying it's for women too. It's for women too. So do you want to hit on a little bit?
Absolutely, guys.
For women. So
well, a little background too. So when you guys see TKO, everybody immediately thinks, oh, Joey was a fighter. It stands for technical knockout. And yeah, we joked around about that earlier. Yeah, we're going to TKO you the fat. You're going to TKO, the problems in your life. It actually stands for, it's a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, means to know oneself. To know oneself is so important about your healthcare. And so this is absolutely for men and women. And I think we actually have more women as clients right now than we do men. And that's because of, I think, the weight loss and some of the peptides that we're using. And so I want to say to the ladies out there, this is 100% just as much for you as anybody else. Our doctors know both sides of the ball. They're going to check those estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone levels for you, along with your lab panels. And we're going to look at everything, and we are going to dial you in. You're going to feel amazing. And for those women that are my age, those guys, people don't realize I'm 49 years old. For those of you that are 40 and over, you absolutely have to do this. You owe it to yourself, only because if you're a fan of Joey Gilbert, and you're watching this, then you know my feeling about, government, about healthcare, about big pharma. They're not here to help us. They're here to make us dependent on the garbage and on the pharmaceutical pills. They have no incentive to make sure that you are healthy naturally. Listen to that one more time. They have no incentive to keep you out of their office. So they don't look at any of this stuff till you're 70 or 65, got all kinds of problems. And if you haven't been on medicine the rest of your life, or prescription, drugs the rest of for your life, you're going to be on it for the rest of your life. So let's head that off now. Let's get that out of the equation and get you back to being your 100% holistically.
Awesome. All right, let's talk about nutrition and how your life's changed. What are things that you used to eat that you don't eat anymore? And what are some staples that you keep around to stay healthy?
Yeah, guys. And so I had the good fortune back in 2021 of meeting a doctor, Mark Sherwood in Oklahoma, right? And when I first met him, he had just started. He was working in peptides, had been doing it for a while. This guy's been in it a long time. And so, that's when I first heard about it. So I've actually used the brand names a little bit for the last 3 years. And the first couple times I tried it, this is where I developed my own protocols within TKO. And again, I'm not a doctor. I am not a medical professional, but I work closely with our doctors, and I've been able to, have great discussions with them. And then as the data comes out, we've seen what's in there. And so one of the tremendous benefits of these peptides is that it absolutely quiets that food noise. And so there's just certain things you're not interested in anymore, right? That just don't even come across. You're in the grocery store, stuff you'd throw in the cart before, just not making the cart anymore. And what I noticed overwhelmingly, anything with sugar, those worthless carbs, any chips, any type of anything that you munch on just doesn't make it in the cart anymore. You don't have any craving for it. And remember what I said at the top of the show. These food companies have added additives to it that shut off the same receptors I'm trying to bring back online. So we're not doing anything bad here. We're actually giving your body the branch, the amino acids, the short chain amino acids you need to tell yourself, I don't want that. I'm not craving salt right now. I'm not craving sugar right now. I don't need these pointless carbs. So what doesn't make it in the cart anymore are the Coca-Cola made in Mexico in the bottle, the Sprite made in Mexico, the Squirt, okay, any chips, any dips, any munchies, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. You pick anything that you could just snack on is gone. And now what took its place? All types of protein, beef, chicken, okay, any type of game meats in there, tons of eggs. I eat eggs like crazy now, have cravings for them. Avocado, tomato, tons of fresh fruit. I've got kefir in the fridge. I've got yogurts that are, sweetened with monk fruit or with stevia. I just don't crave the sugar. And that's a game changer because you're just not wasting food and wasting calories on garbage that doesn't help you. So all that crap is gone and there's a lot more good stuff. And I'm living off, flavored waters, that stevia, monk fruit. You just don't crave the sugar anymore. And it's just an awesome feeling because you find yourself leaning towards the good food and not because you have nothing else to eat. You just don't want it. You just don't want the bad food. So that's the biggest blessing.
So let's talk a little bit about the mental benefits. Like we've talked about, you lose weight, you feel good, the health side, but what happens to you? What are like the mental benefits that you get when you get your hormones balanced and you get on these treatments?
Well, first of all, the cognitive function, you think back to when you were younger, nothing bothered you, patience was everywhere. I mean, I'm not saying, look, everybody, sometimes you need to smack somebody, right? Okay. Someone needs a crack. Sometimes someone needs a crack. That goes without saying, but patience with my daughter, patience with, staff, patience with clients, you just get that energy back and you don't feel frustrated, anxiety, depressed, all that stuff happens. But for me, and for any guy watching this that tries to act like that 15 pounds or 20, 30 pounds on you isn't that big of a deal. Oh, you're just getting older. Bullshit. You know damn well, ladies that are listening, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's that stubborn weight. We're not talking crazy amount of weight, but everybody on this podcast watching this would like to lose 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds, get back to how they felt when they got out of college. They fit in those jeans. They fit in that one swimsuit. and anything you can do to get back to that. And again, it's an insecurity and security issue. You get that stubborn weight off. People treat you different. You feel different. And I always take it back to the Deion Sanders, right? Okay, it comes back to you feel good, you play good. You play good, they pay you good, right? And when you pay you good, what can't you not succeed in? And pay comes in many forms. Pay can come in extra energy with your kids, with your wife or partner, friends, family, to do things that you just don't have the energy to do anymore. So it's just that overall feeling of vitality you get back. And that's what I think you get when you get on these different, products, FDA approved products. They're going to help you get that stubborn weight off without killing yourself and getting that level of energy and vibrancy back.
Okay, so we have a lot of great clients, and you've seen a lot as you've been telling people the benefits of all these treatments. What's like one of the biggest mistakes people make in the very beginning of getting on tirzepatide?
Well, I think one of the biggest mistakes people make, like I said, is your body's going through some changes. Your body's now telling you, I'm not hungry, I feel full. I don't want that, and you got to realize that you need gasoline to fuel that engine. You got to put something in your body. And so if you're not eating, what is your body burning? You're burning through muscle and fat. So you can lose as much muscle as you do fat if you're not being proactive. And again, this comes down to being diligent, not so much disciplined about getting some food in you. I tell everybody, when we rise within 30 minutes of waking up, I want that protein shake, 30 to 60 grams. And you know what? People that say, oh, you're not supposed to have that much protein. There's new data out there. You can have as much protein as you want. So if you can have some egg whites and a protein shake and a piece of something, get it in. Get a couple of those in during the day and start with that protein shake, finish with a protein shake, get that stuff in, get that water in. And those are the mistakes I see is people start too hard, too fast. So I want to see people reduce that dose, maybe break that dose up into 2 or 3 smaller doses that first week. Let your body adjust to things. Get that protein in, stay hydrated. And like I said, I don't need anybody carrying a gallon water jug. I don't need you with that Stanley that's the size of your freaking face carrying everywhere. But a couple, 2 or 3 of these a day, your coffee, a beverage, iced tea, a water, a sparkling water, a flavored water all day, Diet Coke. Listen, I'm not here to kill your vibe. All right. You need to have a Diet Coke a day, have it. It's not a problem. That's going to be the least of your worries. But make sure you're getting in that protein. Slow your roll a little bit. Give your body some time to adjust and make sure you're eating something every day. That's how you beat the first week or 2 of bringing on any one of these peptides.
All right, down to my last one. One thing we haven't talked about is NAD+. Tell us how it feels when you start taking NAD+ and why we try to get people taking it.
So guys, again, not speaking as a medical professional, not a doctor, I can only tell you my experience, and everyone's hearing about this. There's ways to do NAD+, there's liposomal, there's this, we offer certain things. Again, it affects everybody differently, but in a positive way. I notice it is a huge energy zap right from the jump. You can feel it. It's almost a tingling. You feel this overwhelming, like little energy creep up on you. I think it feels fantastic. I would suggest anyone that's, learning about this space and learning and interested about this space to try those things out. Do some research. Again, it's not a one size fits all, but I definitely notice immediate uptick in energy and vitality with things like that. So NAD+ is a big one for me. I use it, at least once a week, sometimes more than that. But again, start slow in whatever you do. And again, give your body some time to adjust.
You did it. You did great. Anything else you want to leave us with?
Oh, I'd just like to leave everybody with this. Look, for those of you that have been frustrated, don't tap out. Don't think this isn't for you. Get your blood work done. We made it so easy. tkovitality.co. Go on there, book a call. For yourself. Lots of people, your insurance will cover the blood work. If worst case scenario, it's very little, maybe $100 or less. If you haven't done blood work in the last year or decade or 2 decades, what are you waiting for? Let's take a look at things. You can't, again, anybody that's interested in being successful in life, what do we do? In any job, in any sport, we measure, right? We measure. You need baseline labs to see where you're at. You need to get a holistic view of where you're at as a person and what's unique to you. Not what your friend's doing, not what a buddy did. Let's see where you're at, and then let's dial you in, and don't take a guess at it. There's so many things people are using. You can't scroll through social media without being bombarded by products. Now, because everybody's been on this podcast, we've talked about testosterone and peptides and weight loss. Wait till you see what happens the next few days as you get bombarded with this stuff. My call to action for you is make a move. Make a move, book a call, get your blood work done. Let's take a look at things. Give me the opportunity to make these changes, to get this impact for you. You'll be glad you did. Let's get you back into fighting shape. And I'm just so blessed and so excited to have this platform to do this. There's going to be a lot more coming, so stay with us. Like I said, we're going to be trying to do Thursdays about 6 o'clock, 6:30. And then once we have it ironed down, this whole podcast studio is changing. We're doing a lot here. A lot of things are coming online, and a lot of cool people will be joining us as guests.
I'm excited about our guests. We're going to have some awesome guests coming up.
Yeah, I can't wait. Brian Artis, you guys are seeing the stuff there about nicotine. Yeah, sure, I like to throw a Zyn in. I do it for a reason. The 7 milligram nicotine patch protocol. Ladies out there, go do what here's a little free tidbit for you. Do some research on the 7 milligram nicotine patch protocol that's out there. Depression, anxiety, everything to do with post menopausal, unbelievable stuff, because we have nicotine receptors in our body that happened? All the toxins, all the chemicals, all the sprays are affecting, and it's a big, big deal. So again, I like these things. And by the way, Tucker Carlson has his own company out there called ALP. But check this stuff out, because we're going to bring folks on that are talking about this stuff. And remember, RFK said about almost a year ago now, he said he wanted to see Americans have access to hormone replacement and enhancement therapies, peptides, and stem cells. Amen. And we all know what we're doing with this Make America Healthy Again movement. We're leading it like we did the last little shenanigans back in 2020. So get on board, get in the fight with me. Let's dial you in. You'll be glad you did. And your family, friends, and loved ones will absolutely thank you. And they'll also become clients as well.
Amen. Share, like. We'll see you next Thursday, right?
See you next